nostalgic right now. I think we're recording.
I think so.
And I feel nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Should we do our ritual?
Yes.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Fuck shit damn. Fuck shit damn. Fuck shit damn. Let's go.
Yes.
Got that out of our system before
Yes.
all the fundies heard it and would chastise us for being impure women.
Yes.
That live among a people of impure lips or some shit like that.
Welcome back to Fundyland Sees Red, where you are free to ditch the rules. And we're unmasking Fundyland one webcast or podcast at a time.
Good job.
Or whenever we feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously, since it's been, I don't know, approximately 11 months since we have all opened y'all up to our conversations. Not 11 months since we've had a conversation.
No.
In fact, very big announcement.
Yes. Hi, I live in Nashville with my twinsy.
And so while we were together the other night, which
we do now
yeah,
on the regs.
Yes.
Which is really great.
We were like, hey, I wonder if we should once again include the world in all of our earth-shattering conversations. And we were like, why would we deprive them? We wouldn't.
No.
We wouldn't.
No, it's a good time. And, we don't have audio issues anymore. Being in the same room.
I'm pretty sure we would have had millions of listeners, but the audio drove people crazy.
That's right. That's what it was. It was the audio.
Yeah.
Not our just disdain for platforms in general.
Yeah. Yeah. We have new information now. We just first went after the big dogs at the top who just up there preaching at everybody to obey and all that wonderful terminology when they're all doing all this kind of bullshit in private, making tons of money, abusing people. Gotta love that. But wow, we've kind of noticed, happens kind of all the way down. There's something about something rolling downhill.
Is it the bullshit version?
Yeah, I mean, any kind of shit, really. Not just bullshit.
Downhill.
So,
for shit.
Yeah.
Dog shit.
Yeah. So, here we are. Lots of things started with Miss Sarah Terrace and Miss Marci Preheim. And look at that. It's back to just us.
Which I'm okay with. Yeah. And, it's funny. When we became friends many moons ago, you said it started with us. It will end with us. And with everything. That's been pretty spot on. And I'm happy with that.
We lost this latest round of friends when we started exposing abuse in the church because I think everybody was desperately trying to salvage the institution, and at this point I don't think it can be salvaged, and so that was a threat. And so the last round of people to leave our lives were like, oh, let me see, do I choose the institution which I'm rising up in and might become famous in someday? Or do I choose these two crazy redheads and boy, are they dumb? So they chose the other thing. So have fun.
Good luck.
I'm sure when you take the place of the people who are in charge now, the church will look way different than it does now, because surely they just need new leadership.
Because that was the problem.
No, it was a problem.
But, like we were talking about, the only way to ascend the platform mountain is to ascribe to the same bullcrap in the system that got the people there that you want to replace in the first place. And so you become what it is you're trying to change, because that's the nature of the system itself. So
yeah. And now your books will sell. And now you'll
saying the same crap, just
right
in a different.
And now you'll only write books that publishers will publish, which just say the same crap. So, dying to read Ed Stetzer's book on why people are leaving the church. Can't wait for that one. That should be good.
Brilliant.
He was asking for a wide variety of views on that. I noticed, I commented on that, I think, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I just enjoyed all the other comments that he didn't respond to.
I think I just quote tweeted it and laughed at him for trying to save evangelicalism with another book.
Yeah, I saw that was good. I don't know. Anymore, I don't comment. I'm amused by the, wow, the ego. I'm going to write an earth-shattering book about why people are leaving. They're leaving because they're sinful and they refuse to submit to authority. I mean, there's the book, bro.
You're done. You're good. I took care of it for you.
I mean,
you don't have to go through all the headache now of writing that book.
Right. Just ask everybody to send you a check for $150,000 and quote tweet me. I won't even charge you.
Yeah.
So.
You want to spend all that money on ghostwriters to say what it is you want to say.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to talk about relationship today and what defines a toxic relationship, friendship, romance, whatever, versus a healthy one. So I think we all have fears. Right? I think we all have fears. I think we all have anxiety that people are going to leave or betray us or whatever. But do we act on those fears, or do we constantly seek reassurance from the other people, or do we just examine the facts and go, okay, you know what? I can't control if people leave. I'm going to just love in this community of people that I have until something happens, and you know, you try to make peace, and if you can't, then you got to let them go. So, yeah, when it's happened a number of times, there's fear that it will happen again. But like with this one here, who's been around for a long time and still hasn't left, the evidence states she's probably going to stick around. So if I have those fears, I can either say, hey, I'm just struggling with this. Maybe you could give me a little reassurance, and she always does. Or I can just go, you know what? The facts say otherwise, Marci. Get over yourself and stop being ridiculous. What say you about toxic versus healthy friendships?
Well, I think for one thing, I think Fundyland has trained us to hold on to toxic relationships. And they use the gospel to do this, that you have to forgive, and forgiveness equals access. We've talked about that. So we're blue in the face. And, you know, like I can think of this one scenario in my past where we were in a church and there was this couple that just glommed on to my family, and they were abusive. I mean, they were flat out these emotionally abusive, manipulative people that just suck the life out of us. And there was no way to say, hi, I need to not spend time with you because A, you're stalking me. You're complaining every time I hang out with anybody else. You're, you know, an example of this was I had just given birth, you know, pushed a human out of my nether regions, which is quite a thing to experience. And
like
was
a watermelon out of your nostril.
Yes,
you know?
Yes. And was in the hospital for 5 full days after that because, you know, we both tried to die. And then there was the whole, what's that thing with the billy ribbon and the jaundice? My child was jaundice, so I didn't get to hold him for like 4 days. Yeah, basically trauma. I went through a trauma And this man stood in my living room and cried for 3 hours that we weren't spending time with him, that our friendship was clearly growing distant and blah, blah, blah. So again, that's an example of an abusive person that we had to, you know, with Fundyland, you have to let everyone in. You have to give everyone access. And the church's leadership answer to this is, well, you're more mature.
Right.
And they're immature. And so you have to just keep loving them, AKA letting them cry in your fucking living room.
Yeah.
For 3 hours when you just want to go pass out with your newborn baby.
And then they start keeping track of how much time you spend with this person versus this person. Mm-hmm. I went to lunch with this person one time. This was years ago when I started realizing something's really bizarre in this place. I had lunch with this one person, and my other friend found out about it. And then I felt guilty for some reason. Like, apparently I'm not supposed to do anything without notifying her first. So I had lunch with this other person, and like this other woman like pulls me aside at the Christmas concert. She was like, "Marci, I won't share you." And I was like, "What? I wasn't sleeping with her. I'm not sleeping with you." It was like lunch. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was like crazy lover kind of thing, and that happened like all the time. It wasn't just like that wasn't just like a one-time incident thing. It was like that kind of thing happened with me all the time. Like, people required all of this crazy stuff from me that isn't normal, you know? So it's true. Codependency is 100% encouraged. Mm-hmm. And then when everybody's so beyond unhealthy that they can't even cope, you know, they're pushed out for saying something's not right here.
Right.
This isn't, you know.
This isn't okay. And you're labeled unloving, or you don't understand grace, or you don't get the gospel because you have said this person has crossed boundaries to the point where they no longer get access to me. And it's, you know, it's gaslighted. It's, oh, you're just uncomfortable. You're just, you know, not, you just can't overlook an offense. You just can't blah, 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 blah. But there are some things that, you know, it's perpetual, like with this couple. The man I got to the point where I was afraid to go to church by myself because this man would corner me, would find me by myself in the church, and he would corner me and he would just say, you don't want me to be friends with your husband, do you? I'm all by myself. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, you just don't like me very much. I can tell. And I'm like, you know, it's not, no, you're fine. Because what am I going to say? I'm a woman by myself. I'm cornered. You know, and he would walk up. I remember being at a restaurant. It was somebody's birthday. And he walked up where no one could hear him. And he leaned over and he's like, oh, by the way, I'm so-and-so. Hi. You know, because when I walked into the restaurant, I walked over to the group of women. That was just where, you know. That's
what you do.
That's what you do.
Segregation.
So I just went over to the group of women, and he was so offended at me. And then we all sat down to the table for whatever reason. His wife was insistent that he sit next to me. And he was like, no, I'm not going to sit next to her. She has a problem with me. And it's just like, and then I'm sitting there and everyone's staring at me. And I'm like.
And it's up to you to stroke that ego.
Yeah. And
or salve that insecurity.
But it's like, you know, oh, you know, in that way, then that's the narrative. It's just, I have a problem with this person. It lies with me. It's not that he's an abusive asshole that is finding me and cornering me and abusing me away from the ears of the rest of the people.
Yeah.
And what do I say? How do I explain this to
right.
anyone? It sounds crazy.
Right. And then you're gossiping. So it's just it's like a no-win situation for.
Yeah, but that's a toxic person in an environment, and also, you know, I've heard it said a little recently that it's not that people are toxic, it's that the personalities of the group cause this person to act out. Okay. So this person cornering me and abusing me where nobody else has ears, that's my personality. So basically what you're doing is you're faulting the victim. You're gaslighting, and you're faulting the victim for, it's your fault that you're being abused. It's your personality.
Right. How dare you not let me abuse you? You know what? Life's too short. Life's too short to deal with toxic people. And so it's like, you know, if you have a problem with me classifying you as toxic to me, that's evidence that you're toxic. So, like, I have no problem. Like, if people want to think I'm toxic to them, great. Cool. Let's part ways. Yeah. You know, I probably, you know, along the way may have done something wrong. I don't know. But I do know that true friendship cannot exist when one person is like dependent on the other person for constant reassurance, for constant like identity and just and competition. Like, oh, do you like her better than her? I'm just like, oh my God, I'm almost 50 years old. And are we competing for friendship? Like, are we competing like who's best friends? Are you better friends with her than you are with me? Right. You know, it's like every friendship has a place, and it doesn't have to be a competition. As soon as it is, it's not going to go well.
No. Well, because then it's not love. It's control.
Yeah.
It's, I need all of your attention on me. I need you to, you know, just be mine. It's possession. It's control.
Yeah.
And that's not love. You can't love and possess or control another human being. I mean, that is toxic, abusive behavior.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
And that's not the other person's fault. It's your fault for not. And here's the thing. Do we all struggle on some level? Do we have a thought, this person spent time with this person, but they didn't invite me? Aw. But then it's like, hold on, grab a hold of that ish, because that's going to turn into some bullshit if I don't get a hold of it and go, well, good for them.
Yeah. And furthermore, 2 weeks ago, we spent time together.
Yeah.
Without anybody else.
Right.
You know, so
yes. It's okay. It's freaking okay. The world doesn't have to revolve around you, and people can have other relationships. It doesn't mean they don't love you equally or whatever.
Or love you, or just love you in the natural progression of that friendship. So it's like, also, when you're in a group of people and there's turmoil because of one person, and then that one person is removed and there's peace, then I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there and say that was the toxic person.
Yeah, that was the person causing the issue.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not sexy. It's not sexy to be a toxic person. It's not sexy to be just an asshole, like, just so you can make everybody bow to your will. Right. So, you know, here's what I think is wrong with the institutional church. It all centers around authority, because like natural relationships cannot flourish when one person views themselves as in authority, like one grown-up views themselves as in authority over another grown-up. Even in marriage, this is why complementarianism kills marriages, because it's, as we have said many times, it's not sexy to sleep with your dad. If you want to be my dad, that's great, but then we're not doing that together. So that's not sexy. So it's not sexy to have one grown-up with this false authority over another grown-up. So my view of a pastor would be somebody who teaches us from the word, but maybe the Bible has authority, but that doesn't mean the guy who's preaching it has authority. His interpretation does not have authority.
Right. Well, and does that pastor or person, does their view of such and so have more bearing than your own thoughts and experiences and needs and whatever?
Right.
Like, what, you know, if you're reading this book over here and you're like, wow, this is really encouraging. It's helping my personal growth. It's helping me to see some things. And this person who views themselves as an authority jumps down your throat and says, no, that's dangerous. You can't. It's like, but says, have you read it? No. Okay. Then maybe you don't actually know what you're talking about. And just because you're in a position, it doesn't make you more informed than the person who actually read the book and has made some adjustments, healthy adjustments to their lives out of it. Like,
that is my biggest pet peeve from Fundyland, is that people have opinions of books they haven't read all the time. The Shack is a great example of that. Everybody had an opinion of The Shack, and then I saw the movie because I often see the movies to see if I want to read the book. And then I got to know the author a little bit because he emailed me based on some abuse that I exposed. And what a great, encouraging, kind person with some different insight than I'm used to. But it's like, and then among friend groups, it's like, oh, we're all friends here, but since I have a 4-year degree from somewhere, even though somebody else in the group may have been studying for 20 years, the same material, just doesn't have a piece of paper to verify that. Oh, but because I have a 4 degree from XYZ seminary, I have authority over everyone here in the room.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to absolve you of your sins.
Yeah, and we're like, we're in a friend group, bro. We're not in church, and I don't go to your church. So what? Wow.
What you mean?
What you mean you're in authority over me? And furthermore, you're in my house. So
that's all about a thing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just the whole matter of authority is so fucked up in the institution that I don't think it can be salvaged. So that even these people on Twitter, just because they've sold a bunch of books, feel like they have some authority. Like, okay, Twitter's a place where we all tweet our thoughts and opinions and whatever, but these folks tweet with such authority and such...
I saw, now this is hysterical and I won't say who.
Okay.
But I saw a few months
Tell me later.
back. Yes, I saw a few months back somebody tweeted, oh, here's my podcast. And it's one of those Patreon things, you got to pay for that. Oh. Which, by the way, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Our opinions are free.
You get all of this for free.
But charge you, here, you can find out what I think about anal sex. Like, why do I care what you think about anal sex?
Should we edit that out? No. We better.
We don't edit here, remember?
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
This is the podcast that never gets edited.
Yeah, that was that other thing.
Yeah,
I am blushing a little, though. Look at that. That's new.
But yes, Twitter authorities. I mean, you're very red. We could.
That is not sexy. It's not sexy to charge for your thoughts on anal sex. It isn't. It isn't.
No, I don't think so. That's weird is what that is.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you have too high of an opinion of yourself.
Yeah. Well, when they're in authority over everybody and they're telling everybody what they can and cannot do.
And they've written books. I mean, we wrote books. Can we charge for that? To get people to...
Here's my 2 cents, my 10 cents.
Wait.
Eminem. I'm such a good rapper.
My 2 cents is free.
Here's my 10 cents, my 2 cents is free. That's it.
Okay.
See, when the song is on, I can do the word for word thing. But
wait, what was your 2 cents?
My thoughts that it's not sexy to charge for your thoughts on anal sex, but then you said we have books, and I'm like, well, I kind of, I thank you for the 5 people who have bought my books.
Thank you. I did receive $40.
Oh,
I did.
That's great.
It is great because I get like 12 cents a book or something. So that's
that's pretty good.
I think so. Yeah, but that's not that I'm special. It's that they have people that just distributors that buy
all their stuff to sell.
Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really matter what it is. So I could have written complete garbage.
Well, I need to write a book on
anal sex.
I mean, any kind of sex, really. That's what, sells.
That's true. I'm really good at drawing stick figures. I could do your illustrations.
I'm going to get Ezra to do my illustrations, actually.
He does really good giraffe penis. Well, I was going to say giraffe penises. That's not it. It's giraffes that look like penises.
Yeah. I know. That's why I'm going to get Ezra.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Where were we?
I don't know. Maybe we should. I mean, I feel like we kind of
covered the things.
Did our That's Not Sexy, and
we did.
Kind of covered the things we had to say.
I don't remember our other segments because it's been almost a year since we've done this.
That's Not Sexy. I mean, we always remember that one. And then what else do we do, guys?
Most ridiculous rules in Fundyland.
Yes. You can't have anal sex.
That's a ridiculous rule. Is that monitored?
I don't know. I have had people confess to me that their husbands want that and they don't, which, don't know what to tell you.
If it's not consensual.
Or a little special time with, I don't know.
Or just say no. I'm not comfortable with that.
There's plenty of other orifices
that I'm comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Hemorrhoids is not sexy.
Yeah. I'm kind of an exit only girl myself, but it's I'll explain later. So most ridiculous rule. We did have, I feel like we've told many of our stories, and I don't remember, since it's been a year, what stories we've told, but we did have a woman who went around asking all the other women how often they had sex. And did I tell that story already?
I think so.
And then she
revive it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Who's listening to this anyway? We don't know.
This is like a test. So we'll see. And we are planning to get yelled at for cussing.
Sorry, not sorry.
Not really.
The fuck shit damn at the beginning of the program is what we always said before recording, so we get all of our cussing out as to not offend.
We did that for you
listeners. We did that for solid. How long was our podcast? Like 2 years? We don't know, but that's what we did after.
I think we had 8, and we just kind of did them whenever we wanted. So,
well, 11 months later.
Yeah.
So she would ask how often you had sex.
Yeah, she would ask how, like, all the women, like, how she would pull them aside and ask them how often they had sex, and it was never enough. And she would give them assignments, like, I am giving you an assignment to have sex with your husband X number of times this week, and notice the change in your relationship. So it was an if-then kind of thing, or just do your duty, He needs this. So
I have so many angry thoughts on that.
I mean, that kind of obligatory shit is a real boner killer for ladies. So I guess that fits into the that's not sexy segment as well.
Either way. What else isn't sexy? Duplicity.
Duplicity is not sexy. And oh my God, do we have experience with this?
Mm-hmm.
Look it up. It's frustrating as hell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I am who I am. You are who you are. There's no like different personality one day from the next.
Mm-mm.
So,
yeah, but the people that sort of float, I think what happens is that people believe, and I think it was Glennon Doyle, and I freaking love Glennon Doyle.
I love her too.
Not read Love Warrior, maybe you should, because it's really good. There's some caveats to that, but I think it's really good, and I like her. But she talks about, I just lost my train of thought.
Duplicity.
Why? Darn.
One personality the next. One day, one personality the next day.
It was really good. It was really good. It was like, damn it, they were just chilling. If I could reach my phone.
While you're thinking about that, I'm telling everyone to follow the Dog Twitter
God,
account
yes.
because, oh my God,
That's so
I'm
funny.
a 7, in case anybody doesn't know. And that account has me so pegged. Sarah's a 4. Has her pretty well pegged too. So 7s and 4s work well together in that 7s
I think so.
require 4s to close the door and not let any more people in.
Yes. I've learned.
Yes.
The hard way.
Mm-hmm.
But the Sarah door is officially closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even
I can rest from my
trying to make me close the door.
my toils and struggles with
many years, but we finally figured that out.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah got burned enough times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Glennon says, at this point in history, if you're a peacekeeper, you are not a peacemaker. Peacemaking requires loud dissent and collective action against oppression. Now, here's the thing. I think what happens is that people believe the gospel is about peace keeping, not peace making.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that you can be a peacekeeper, don't be a peacekeeper. To be a peacekeeper is to live in duplicity,
Mm-hmm.
because it's impossible.
Right.
You have to, because the only way to keep peace is to not be honest. I have to go between, and I have to be somebody different over here, and I have to be somebody different over here. And that's how
you got a foot in both camps.
You got a foot in both camps. And that's not actual peace making.
Right.
And
we had a friend, a very, very, very good friend who we both loved dearly. And he was all wandering around with folks that hated us. And Sarah and I had many private conversations about this. And I was like, you know what? You and I are not going to make him choose. But they will. Eventually they will. And we lost him. Because he couldn't, you can't keep it hidden forever. You can't keep your real desires hidden forever. And when you just use people, you're going to be duplicitous because you're going to want to make sure everyone likes you, not make sure you really like everyone that you're hanging out with. So that was another lesson learned. We can't force honesty, but boy, am I learning to spot it.
Yeah, dishonesty. Well, and I think too, when you really, I think there's this belief that you can have a platform, and I think 2014, 2015, even into 2016, there were a lot of gunning for platforms with our friends, and it was an honor to have the platform. And I think if that's the thing that you're wanting, you did what it took to have a respectable online image. And the problem with that is that who you are online in that scenario isn't reflective of who you are behind the scenes. And so things happen. And when we talk about duplicity, it's, oh, I encourage you and I build you up online as long as it benefits me and I'm respected in the community. And
as long as I get a few of your followers for doing so.
And then when it
or I buy them,
Well, there's that. Followers, weirdos. Never done that. So creepy.
What's the point?
No, because only 1% of your followers even pay attention to your tweets. So scientifically proven to be pointless. But anyway. But I think they try for a platform, and when you're no longer, because of your honesty, the only way to maintain and keep a platform is to be within a system, and you have to, at some point, to stay in the system, you have to go against your conscience to sell books or to write books or to get publishers to agree to sign you. You have to go against your deepest, innermost convictions, feelings, thoughts.
Well, you can't do what Paul said. My weakness, his strength. So Paul preached in weakness, right? And that was, and he boasted in weakness. He says that. My good friend preached in John MacArthur's pulpit long ago, and he was always the kind of preacher that would admit weakness and talk about his struggles in life. And he did this. He did this in this sermon. This is no different. And there was a big outcry at the church because he had revealed some struggle with sin in his heart. And MacArthur pulled him into his office, and he was like, see, the problem is that you exposed your weakness from the pulpit. This is something I will never do. Okay. Well, then that's not honest, is it? And that isn't Christianity, because Christianity is about weakness and God's strength. So what message are you preaching then, bro? I think it sounds like you're preaching man's strength, pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of shit.
And public respectability.
Right. And pulling in $1 million a year at least for doing so. So
yeah. So, I mean, when you're that guy and you're preaching from weakness and you're being honest, that doesn't sell. Yep. And so you, by virtue of honesty, you lose your platform.
Yeah. I've been told by every publisher in this town, this message won't sell, when I wrote Super Free Woman. And I was like, well, I didn't write it to necessarily sell. I have something to say and I would like for it to sell, but.
Well, got you a twinsy.
Yeah, we just say our shit and listen or don't. But
we don't care. We're not here for a platform.
We're not dishonest.
No.
No, we're going to tell you what really happens in churches. And I think real churches happen in people are huddled in corners hiding from Pharisees.
I mean, it happens when a group of friends show up and go to a woman's house who's afraid and struggling and having a hard day, and we all just show up with food and we're just there.
Yeah. Yep.
And loving and supporting and listening and crying and laughing and being present.
Since my people have moved to town, I have done out of love things that I haven't done in forever, because I did them for so many years out of obligation. And don't have to ask me. to throw a casserole together. Oh my God, casseroles. We're talking early 90s, okay? Freaking casseroles, really just so we can be together. And just, really I mean, just so there's something to eat and we can hang out and carry each other. That's what the church is. It's people who genuinely love each other, accept each other as they are, aren't trying to change each other, take authority over each other, serve each other, take care of each other, and point them to Jesus.
Well, and here's the other thing too. It's, I believe you. When you tell me that you love me, I believe you. I don't push against that and say, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it. Do you love me now? Do you love me now? See? Mm-hmm. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because you didn't fail. Prove it.
Expectation. So many expectations that are stated and unstated that we don't know what they are, and eventually we give up because don't know what they are and don't know how to meet them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because that's a huge thing for me. For a long time, I felt like I needed to prove to people that I loved them, and I realized finally at one point, either you're gonna believe I love you or you're not. And if you don't believe me, you'll never. Now, having done all of the things
with all of this evidence,
if you don't believe the evidence and the history, there's nothing I can do for you. You're never gonna believe that. And I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna walk away, but I'm gonna stop trying to prove it.
Yeah. Well, and basically what those requirements are fear. I need you to do this or I'm going to leave. Now I need you to do this or I'm going to leave. I need you to do this or I'm going to leave. And it's never enough. Mm-hmm. And I have a revolving door of women and men, frankly, who've done that to me as well. It's like, if you don't kill yourself serving me, I'm going to leave, because I have this continual fear of people leaving. I get on the hamster wheel and try to keep them from leaving. Until I finally learned one day, get on the wheel or don't, they're going to leave.
Yeah.
So
they'll find their reason.
Yeah. So it's like, if I don't get on the wheel and people don't leave, those are my real friends. Those are my people.
Yeah. And you don't have to prove it to me. And what happens is all of those people that want you to prove love become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you make it impossible to love you.
Yeah.
And I've said this for years, when you constantly hear, you don't love me, you don't love me, you don't love me, it's like, I'm just going to stop because I don't have anything else to give.
Yeah.
And then you got exactly what you're wanting, which is
sabotage.
It's self-sabotage, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking. And what do you do? But we're human people, and I'm thankful for a community of women and men who, we're not perfect, and we know what the weaknesses are with all of us. It's eyes wide open. But I believe the best, and I believe that they love me. And so it works. And they're not going to love me perfectly, and that's okay. They're not abusing me.
Right.
And I think that's the difference. It's okay not to love perfectly, but it's not okay to abuse, and it's not okay to constantly, you don't love me, you don't love me, you don't love me, prove it.
Yeah. And constantly validate me. Yeah. But then it's got to be, it's a two-way street. Mm-hmm. So if I just always need you to do all these things for me, but then I never ask anything from you. Like, it's just
and there's no give. It's give and a take.
Give and take.
Like, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
There have been times where you've carried me, and there have been times when I've carried you.
Mm-hmm.
But how many times have I had friendships where the demand is all on me to carry? I'm getting calls at 2 a.m. crying, sobbing, hysterical. My life is falling apart. Help, help, help. And I'm there, and I show up because that's who I am. And then in my darkest hour, where are those people?
Right.
Then that wasn't true friendship, you know? And I'm one of those people, frankly, that I don't tell you if something's wrong unless I really trust you.
I don't even, if I trust you.
Yeah,
I lay in bed and wait for it to pass.
There's that. I also, if I were honest, I do that too now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trait. But,
yeah, I'll tell you after the fact. Yeah, last week I was in bed. Why didn't you tell me? I don't know. I didn't want to trouble you. I didn't want to bother you. I was like, I mean,
yeah,
it's just that's been that's been my life in the church for 20 years. It's that I have to be there available for everyone, but when I have a need, I can't ask for help because
you're supposed to be the strong one.
I'm supposed to be the strong one.
You're not supposed to be help.
Yeah. So figure it out. You'll be fine. You know, like, you need to carry me. I'm not carrying you. So that's been my reality. And so now, and I feel like part of that has to do with what I was talking about earlier with the authority thing, because I was the authority figure, and the women, I was, you know, the Bible study teacher, the women's ministries director, the whole, you know, leader and everything. And the leader doesn't need the people need the leader. And so, and also the leader can't show weakness. So it's like, okay, well, I'm alone. So I don't do these master-student friendships anymore. If we're not equals, we're not friends.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the problem with our group of friends, is that we were always equals, but then we had sprinkled in people that wanted to be in charge or wanted to be, like you said earlier, the leader. And it's, I'm here, so all of you serve me and all of you listen to me, and my opinion is the only one that matters, because you wouldn't understand this. You're not in a pastoral position to understand it.
I wouldn't. I did that for 20 years, but okay.
You know, and so it's this.
Or I have a penis. I should be in charge. Like,
that automatically makes you not in charge when it comes to us, I think.
That makes you automatically not in charge. And also, if you're clergy, you're automatically not in charge.
Yes.
Jeez. And I mean, but people not only tried to do that, but then they would try to like capitalize on, let's make a website and brand ourselves and make money off of this. And let's
just a group of friends.
Yeah. Which is why it's back to Sarah and I, because we never, ever let anyone take authority. We never let anyone capitalize, make money, do any of that shit. We just wanted relationships.
Yeah.
So guess who's left? Her and me.
Yeah. Out of the original.
Yeah.
We have friends. We have a great, amazing group of people.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
and we found each other through Twitter, so we're thankful for that. And we still have shit to say. We still are going to tweet stuff, and we're going to podcast when we want.
I'm kind of hiding. I'm kind of like, here's my feet laying on this bed because I'm tired because I was a mom today.
Yeah. I'll do like 2 or 3 funny things, not really planning it out to be funny. 2 or 3 funny things, and then, wha-bam! I'm pissed at the church.
Yes. Usually it's me getting angry with men in public, and I wha-bam.
Yeah. So anyway, we appreciate those of you who want to pick up with Fundyland Sees Red and listen to us. Don't have to, but we'd love to hear from you. And
yeah, I should probably check that email. It's been a year.
Yeah, I haven't checked it either. I don't know if I remember how.
I do. I think I have the password. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
My computer.
Well, email us if you have any thoughts or suggestions for podcasts in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're just going to have podcasts and listen to them ourselves and laugh.
When we feel like it, when you just feel like recording what we've been saying privately.
Yeah, since we're together anyway in the same town. All right, well, this is Fundyland Sees Red signing out. I'm Marci Preheim.
I'm Sarah Terrace.
And that's it.
That's it. Bye.
Bye. What do I push?
I don't know.